So as you're setting up your chair, consider those tips of having your chair against the wall or on a non-skid surface or on your mat. And remember, no holes in the mat when we're done. And I have a block, I have a bolster, a blanket, and a strap. And once again, if you don't have those things, we can still move through the set without them. I'm going to get started here. What we're going to do now is we are going to go through what is called a joint maintenance flow. And this is a flow I learned from, her name is Karen Clark. She was the teacher that I trained with when I did my chair yoga certification. And she graciously gave me 100% permission to share this with you. So this is something that works all the joints in the body, and if someone is in a chair and it doesn't have a lot of mobility, this can be very useful for them. It can be very useful for all of us, no matter what our level of mobility is. You can also do this standing as well. So there are a lot of variations as there are in our yoga practice. What we're going to start with today is our mountain pose, our Tadasana, and we're going to really think about our alignment. If you have that block, grab your block, and we'll put the block right between our knees, and we'll slide that block then right down so it's between your feet. If you don't have a block, you can use your fist, and that will give you that alignment. What this block does, though, it allows your feet, the insides of your feet, to be parallel. The other thing you want to check as you're in your chair, you want your knees to be parallel with your hips. So if your knees are higher than your hips, you can put a blanket on your chair to lift you up. And if your knees are lower, put a blanket or a pillow under your feet so that you can come into that alignment. Our muscles pull and tug on our bones, and so being in this proper alignment lets that pressure be symmetrical. It also helps us to create good posture, which opens us up, which allows our breathing, more space for our breath in our breathing. So we'll check our posture here. We've got our feet aligned. We have our knees over our ankles, and we have our knees in line with our hips, which are right here. Now the next thing I want you to do is, if you can, put your hands right here on your back. And let's move into that slump asana that sometimes we get, where we just slump down here and you can feel your back, your shoulders rounding. And as you inhale, let that chest open and lift, and you can feel those muscles in your back open and start to work. Start to engage and open this chest area. You also feel your core muscles working here, opening that up. And now I want you to just release that about 10% so that you come into that right effort. Not too much, not too little, that right effort in that posture. And just take a moment to feel that posture. Your shoulders are back and relaxed. And just notice how your body is feeling. Take an inhale. Let that energy just move down into the earth. And on your exhale, let that energy from the earth move back up into your body. Noticing how your body is in this moment, what your energy level is like. Just being connected. Feeling those feet on the floor, your sits bones on the chair. coming into your practice. Taking this moment to arrive here, being present. Noticing where your mind is right now, what stories might be coming up. Noticing your breath. Allowing the mind to focus on the breath, coming into the present moment. And noticing if there is an intention that you would like to bring into your practice this evening. Maybe it's an intention, a blessing, whatever that is, just let that arise for you. Coming back to our practice, one of the things I would like to have you think about as we go through this is I would like you to imagine a line that runs from your two center toes down the center of your foot down to your heel, almost like they're an ice skate blade. And so when we think about that alignment, it allows then your feet to rock from side to side. So that will be our grounding. Instead of thinking of the four corners of our feet connected to the mat, we're going to think of our feet on those ice skate blades, which will allow a little bit more movement. So as we move through this, we are going to work our joints. We're also going to do those 6 movements of the spine. So we'll talk about that as we go through as well. So let's take a nice inhale here and a long slow exhale. And we'll start by bringing both hands up and exhaling those hands down. We'll bring one arm up, exhale that arm down, inhale the other arm up, and exhale that arm down and roll the shoulders. Let those shoulders roll. And we'll do that again. We'll bring one arm up, exhale down, and noticing if you have that awareness in the shoulders, bringing both arms up, because maybe this is not comfortable. And you can always bring this to wherever it's comfortable for you. If you have the motion, the mobility for hands to be up, just let that gently rock now from side to side. Like you had a beach ball between your palms and you're moving from side to side. Very gentle here. Release those hands down. Bring those hands to our legs. And just let the hands start to move on your legs. Let the hands notice. Is the material on your pants, is it rough? Is it smooth? How does it feel to just let your hands move, feeling your thighs? Let the hands now start to move in opposite directions. So let the right hand come forward and then the left hand. And as you come into this motion, notice what this is doing for your torso, coming into a very gentle twist. Some people that will be in a chair yoga class may have osteoporosis, and they can do this twist very gently. Bringing these hands back we'll move into a little bit deeper twist. And we're going to do this twist a little bit different than we do usually in a yoga class. So we're going to take a nice inhale and a full exhale. And on the inhale, moving to the right, leaving those hands on your legs. Exhale back to center and inhale to the left. Now notice how that inhale affects your twist. It limits the twist. We usually do that nice exhale and move into it. So this is just the opposite of that. We exhale and inhale into the twist. So we're not pushing into the twist, we're just letting the torso turn and letting the spine experience that gentle twisting motion. And one more time. And come back to center. Now feeling your sits bones on the chair. So you're at the front of your chair, you're not at the back. There's some space between you and the back of your chair as long as you're stable. And let's start to do a little rock on those sits bones. So the back stays engaged. We're just rocking back and forth on the sits bones. Little rocking chair motion here. Feeling the back muscles engage, feeling the core muscles engage as we come back and forth. And as we come forward, we will stay in this forward motion. Now the back again is engaged. Our chest is open. And we feel this forward, this gentle forward fold. We're not rounding our shoulders here. We're keeping the shoulders back and engaged. This motion, you can think of this motion as a little zip up your jacket. So you're zipping up your jacket, you're opening that chest. And if you have the motion, you can let those arms come back. And it's so wonderful motion. Coming back to center, we're going to do a cat-cow motion now. Although I want to caution you, anyone that has osteoporosis or arthritis in the neck, rounding the shoulders forward is contraindicated. So anyone that has osteoporosis will stay in a flat back here, or maybe they'll just open and come back to neutral. If you have this mobility, you can round the shoulders and tuck the belly button. And on the inhale, rocking back in those sits bones, opening the chest, gentle with the neck. And one more time, coming forward. So again, you could round the shoulders or keeping the back flat. And that little rocking motion. All right, coming back to that neutral position, we'll start with the head and we'll move the head. We're going to move the head from right to left. That little no motion. Now, if again there's osteoporosis in the neck, this might be a very minimal movement. In fact, it might be almost undetectable. There are times in chair yoga when your student may only imagine the motion and let their imagination move through. Bringing the head back to neutral. We'll take an inhale, and on the exhale, just let the chin drop. Come back, that little yes motion here. Again, this may be very, very minimal. And the head comes back to neutral. We're not dipping the head back and lifting the chin. That puts pressure on that cervical spine. Bringing the head back to neutral. Let the head now move from side to side. Very gently on the exhale, let the shoulder dip and the head come back from side to side. Bring the head back to neutral. Take an inhale and lift that left shoulder. And exhale, let that ear come to the shoulder. And on the inhale, drop the shoulder and bring the head back to center. Inhale, lift that right shoulder. Exhale, let the ear come over. And on the inhale, drop the shoulder and bring the head back to center. And let those shoulders roll. Let the shoulders come up and round and down and back. And take a pause. Take a moment here, being aware of the body. Notice any shifts that may have occurred already, either physically, emotionally, mentally, any shifts in your breath. Just being aware of the present moment and what is going on. Well, let's bring those fingers together. This is a Hakini Mudra, and we can bring it right down here in front of the belly. This balances the 5 elements. And as we hold this nice little mudra, bring awareness into your breath. Notice the breath as it comes in through the nose, into the chest, down into the belly. And on the exhale, tracing the breath as it comes from the belly, through the lungs, and out through the mouth or the nose. 2 more inhales and exhales on your own. Now let's bring that mudra up and do these. They're fondly called spider push-ups. So gently pushing the fingertips together, bringing them in and out. People who have arthritis, this can feel lovely. Again, we're not pushing hard. It's just a movement, letting the joints move. From here, let the hands extend out, palms up, palms down, palms up, palms down. Fingers come in and they open. Let those fingers spread wide and come back together. Bring the hands together in a fist and let the wrists move in both directions. Now bend the elbows, bring the palms forward, take a nice inhale, let those fingers spread again, and on the exhale, let the fingers curl and curl your toes at the same time. So inhale, let the feet go flat, the fingers open, and exhale. Let those toes curl, the hands come down, and one more time. Hands to the shoulders now. Hands around the shoulders, and we'll let the arms extend and come back. Let the elbows move here. Getting all those hands and arm joints moving. We'll bring the fingertips to the elbow or to the shoulders. The elbows come out to the side. Take a nice inhale, and on the exhale, the elbows come down, and inhaling up and around to the back. Notice the feel here in the shoulders, maybe in the shoulder blades. Letting this open up the chest, counteracting all the hunching that we do over our devices or steering wheels. Release this down and roll the shoulders. The shoulders come up and down and around. Hands come onto the legs. Take a moment here and just notice any shift in energy in your body. Let's bring those arms out to a T. So bring the arms out to a T, and on the exhale, give yourself a nice little hug. Wrap those arms around. Inhale, come back to that T. Exhale, wrap the arms in the other direction. So what I mean by that is the other arm on top. Inhale, back to T. This time, bring the elbows together. One elbow goes on top of the other. Back of the hands are together, or palms are together. And you can always go back to that hug. So those are the two options here. And maybe you want to try this, see what it feels like, and then choose which feels better to you tonight. We'll release this, bring the hands to a T, and bring the other elbow on top, back of the hands together, palms together, or move into that hug. Let those arms float out, let them float down. Roll those shoulders and shake out those arms. I'm a big fan of the shake. You'll know if you take any of my classes. I love the shake out. So let's check our alignment again here with our feet, with your knees. Again, we're still away from the back of the chair, and we'll move down to the legs now. So take those hands, and you can use a strap here, or you can use your hands, and let's put it under that left leg. Lift that left leg, and let that leg be heavy. So we're doing a little exercise here with the triceps and biceps. So just let that leg move up and down. And let the foot swing back and forth. Let the knee move. Make some circles here with the foot, like you have a pencil on the end of that foot and you're drawing a circle, going in both directions. Let that swing again. Let's set that foot back down onto the floor. And now on those ice skate blades, let that knee move out and back to center. Let's pick up the other leg. Again, let it be heavy. Move it up and down. Swing it back and forth. Make those circles. Noticing any differences from side to side. Does one side feel a little bit different? Is it easier to make circles? And it's not a judgment, it's just a noticing. It's just a curiosity here. And bringing that back down. And let that leg now move out from side to side. Let's extend the feet now. Now, if you would like, your feet, when you extend them, can be on a blanket if you'd like, or they can be on a bolster, or they can be on the floor. So we'll extend that the left leg, we'll extend the left leg, and let that foot point and flex. Point and flex, let the ankle move from side to side, and a rotation here. Let the toes widen and then scrunch them together. Now you can have that right on the blanket. You can keep it lifted however you're feeling called. And we'll bring that foot back and we'll extend the other foot. Now you can do this with both feet together as long as you feel secure in your chair. And we'll do the same thing. We'll point and flex. Rotate in both directions. Let those toes widen and then scrunch together. Notice the difference between your feet. At least there's a difference between my feet and what I can do. And bringing both feet on that blanket or in front of you, and just let the feet wave back and forth from side to side. Bringing the feet back, and we're going to do some prep work for a pigeon pose as we prepare for that. Now for pigeon pose, there are many options. And to start with, you might want to bring that left foot just to the floor. And if you have a hip replacement on either side, pigeon pose can be done with your ankles crossed. So we're not quite there yet, but that is a precaution for you to consider. We're going to build now from the base up. Foot can be right here, and see how that feels with the knee to the side. You can bring your block in here and bring that foot up on the block and just see how that feels. If that feels okay, you can adjust the height of your block and bring the foot up, and then just notice what feels more comfortable for you today. And you can choose where you'd like that foot to be. Noticing that this might be different from yesterday, or it might be different from tomorrow. Now, if you have this in your practice, you could bring that ankle right up on that leg. You're still sitting tall here. We're not slumping back. We're keeping that posture, and we're keeping that foot nice and flexed. And we're going to do a little foot inspection here. So we're going to look at the foot and just notice many people that that come to chair yoga, they may be an older population, or they may be not aware of their feet. So sometimes it's good just to check your feet, just notice them, give them a little rub, and let those toes get a little workout. So just let the toes move back and forth, and them wiggle around. If you are able, you can let those fingers move in between the toes. Now, some people, this is not available, and if that's you, that's fine. Just let the toes move. Just give them a little movement. And then rub the bottom of your feet. Maybe give your feet some love and some gratitude for carrying you around all day long. And then let's tap the bottom of the foot. Give it a little sweep. We'll take that leg, lift it up and down, lower it down. Let it move from side to side. And just notice any differences. Notice any differences in energy. And we'll move to the other side. So bring that right foot in. Keep it right on the floor. Gently opening that leg. And find your position on this side. building up, trying different positions, and noticing what's in your practice today. Once again, if you have that in your practice, to bring that leg up, and you can see my leg is very different from side to side, keeping that foot flexed to protect that knee. And let's look at this foot, and just noticing this foot, give it a nice little rub. Let the toes get a little bit of a workout here, moving those toes, threading those fingers in between. You know, if your toes are short here and those fingers don't fit in between, just be thankful for your toes. Just appreciate the toes that you have and love the toes that you have. Release that, let those toes work a little bit more. Give that bottom of the foot a rub. Give it a nice little tap, a little sweep. Hands under the leg, lower it down, and let that move from side to side. All right, so now that we've done a little bit of motion through here, we'll move into our pigeon pose. Once again, building up, finding where you would like your foot to be for this pose. And again, if there's any kind of hip, if there's been a hip replacement, crossing the ankles is a perfect variation of the pose. If that foot can come up again onto that leg, let the foot be flexed, cradle the knee here, noticing your posture. Zipping up that jacket, opening that chest, circling now that torso. Just a gentle circling motion here, noticing how this feels. The opposite direction, noticing those sits bones connected to your chair. Coming back to center, really cradling the knee and supporting the foot here, and noticing if this might be an option. Now, this might not be available to everyone, and if not, just staying right here on the knee. Let's take a nice inhale here. Again, opening that chest, and on the exhale, gently coming forward to wherever you feel that nice little edge, and take a couple of breaths here. And being with whatever is in your practice. I know in my classes I like to talk about staying on our own mats, and I think that when we're home here in this Zoom world, inhale coming back, it's such a wonderful practice to be able to stay on our own mat. Bringing that leg back to center, releasing it down, and that little movement in and out. Now we'll move to the other side. Using your block, there may be a difference from side to side here, so you may want your right foot in another position. If it likes to be on the leg, you can move it right up there. Taking that nice inhale, opening the chest, and a little torso circling here, moving it around in both directions. And once again, cradling the knee, supporting the foot, lifting and moving. I know my teacher, whom I took this class from, he can bring this down. She was hesitant, she said, to do this, to suggest this move in her class. And she did one day, and one of her 93-year-old students said, yeah, I love that. That feels great. And so she thought, well, you know, if she is 93 doing it, maybe there are other students that also have that available to them. So thinking through who your students are, getting to know your students, can be very useful when you create that safe environment so they can share those things with you. And we'll do that inhale, open the chest, and on the exhale, coming forward to wherever that is, keeping that foot flexed, keeping that head in line with the spine. We're not rounding the shoulders here. Inhaling back to center, letting that leg swing, releasing that down, and letting that leg move from side to side. All right, let's bring those feet together and the knees together and let the legs move from side to side here. On those ice skate blades, just let them rock from side to side. Let the legs shake out a little bit, let them move. Coming back into that alignment, noticing your feet, your knees. Let's take that nice inhale, zip up that jacket, open that chest, and on the exhale, coming forward, hands are on the knees, keeping the head in line with the spine. Taking a couple breaths here. Hands can stay on the knees. They can come to the back of your chair here, or you can open. Feeling what muscles are engaging here. And we'll release that down. Scooching all the way to the back of your chair. You can walk those hips back. And we'll come into what is called a Sunbird. You'll notice that this is very similar to a pose that we do on our knees. So for Sunbird, you're at the back of your chair, although your spine, still notice your posture here. Your spine is still engaged, or your back is still engaged, your spine is tall. We will extend one foot out, keeping the foot flexed, and let the opposite hand lift into the air. Now we'll release this down and inhale to the other side. Noticing your posture here, noticing your breath, and noticing that this certainly is a pose that could be on the knees, but now is accessible to anyone. Letting the hands rest here on the chair. You can extend both feet forward here, as long as you're feeling secure in your chair. You're not pulling with your hands here. These are just here as guideposts. And you can always just do this again one at a time. So release those feet down and grab your blocks. Coming to the front of your chair here, let the knees be wide. The toes are in the same direction as the knees. You can stay right here, or if you'd like a little bit more of a stretch in that inner thigh and in your hips, you can bring your feet up on blocks. Take a nice inhale, let those hands come up, and on the exhale, coming down into those cactus arms. So take a nice inhale, open the chest, exhale. Inhale, a gentle twist. Exhale, back to center. And inhale to the other side. And exhale back to center. Release this down Bring the feet back. Walk those feet back. Let the legs move in and out. And if you have a bolster or a pillow, let's grab that bolster and we'll move into a Cobra Pose. So again, you're towards the back of your chair. This bolster is nestled right up against your abdomen. And let those hands just drape over the cushion. And then very gently as you exhale, lean forward over your bolster or your pillow. On the inhale, gently lift the chest, engaging the back, let the shoulders come down. And the head is lifting. The head is not going back here, it's just lifting. Feeling that engaged back. You can also, on your next exhale, gently pull the arms back, pulling the bolster back toward your torso, and you can feel the back engage even more. So this beautiful seated Cobra Pose. Exhale, we'll release this down. And okay. So I'm looking at the time. So if you have a strap, let's grab your strap. Let the feet be in alignment here. You can have that blanket again close if you'd like. We're going to lift that left leg, bring the strap underneath the left leg, and then extend that left leg. Take a nice inhale here and gently put some pressure on that strap. And on the exhale, bending from those hip creases, coming forward till you feel that nice stretch up the back of the leg. So the back is engaged here, the head's in line with the spine. Inhale, come back to center, release the strap, bring the foot back, let the shoulders roll. And we'll move to the other side. So lift that right leg, strap comes under the foot, extend the foot onto the blanket or your floor. Take a nice inhale, gently pulling the strap back towards the torso. And on the exhale, bending from those hip creases, just coming forward to where you feel that nice stretch up the back of your leg. So a nice little forward fold here. Inhale to release this. Let the strap release. Let the legs move back and forth. And we'll move into a short Shavasana. Now for Shavasana, you can stay right here in your chair, and there's a couple of things that can make chair Shavasana very lovely. You can take a blanket and do a nice little roll with your blanket. I like to do it long ways. It gives me a little bit more blanket to work with. And put this over my neck, bringing the bolster onto my lap. And of course you can always put your socks back on. Coming all the way to the back of your chair. Letting your head rest on the blanket, bringing your arms on the bolster. If you're by a wall, you can always let your head rest on the wall. And allow yourself to release and let go into this beautiful chair Shavasana. Just letting your body be heavy. If it's comfortable, let the eyes close. Being aware of any shifts, any changes. Letting your neck be relaxed, shoulders easy. Let the chair support you. Taking a nice inhale and just taking this moment into transition. And as we complete this yoga practice, I would like to leave you with this thought. All you need for doing yoga is your body, the way it is, and your mind to say, I am fine. There is nothing that needs fixing before you begin. Namaste, my friends.